game's not exactly over. Just give me 2 seconds. We're gonna fix some things right now. Hold on. Look at that, it's over. The Florida Panthers are going to move to the Stanley Cup Final, and it looks like, considering when I'm looking at the screen, looks like SGA is going to go talk to Scott Van Pelt, and it looks like the Thunder are moving on to the NBA Finals. Let me mute some things around here. Hold on. Gotta grab the remote, mute the TV. You know how it is. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Carter Verhaeghe has to say. They're talking about the interview was about the play from Carter Verhaeghe. He ended up having the game-winning goal, and what transpired in even getting the opportunity for the last-second goal. It wasn't last second, but like last-minute game-winning goal. And what it was the offensive ability of Barkov to just drive the puck in, and you could see it from the replay. He was boxing this guy out, but then he made a phenomenal pass. Where Verhaeghe was waiting there, putting it in the back of the net behind Anderson, and that ended up being the go-ahead. Wow, there's some Florida fans who brought some rats. There's rats on the ice. Let me mute one more time. I didn't know they're going straight into the trophy presentation, so let's I'll mute me, but we'll continue to watch a little bit, give my insights. Third straight too. Third straight. I think that's freaking awesome. Here, let me mute it real quick. Ah, okay, because I was about to ask, which trophy is the one we don't touch? Because, there's fun superstitions in the NHL. It's this one. It's the one in the East, Prince of Wales. We don't touch it. Don't touch it. Everybody get near it, but don't touch it. Superstitions in sports, man. It's just the way that it is. Eastern Conference champs. They better get ready, and they better get used to this, because I've already thrown it out there. I think the Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup on the road. But anyway, here's Bill Daly. Hold on. Let me mute myself here real quick. We got a little bit of music here. Let me turn up the volume just a little bit while I put myself on mute, and we listen to the trophy presentation. Nobody touch it. Stay away. Stay away. There's a huge. You could see the gap. You could see the gap behind the trophy. It would have been funny to just put not Barkov, Bobrovsky back there, just like, hey, here's our stone wall. This is why we're going to win the Stanley Cup. It's going to go to. Oh, hold on. Let's see what Marchand has to say. I'm switching over to the NBA. Hold on. Here we go. I would have messed with it a little bit because they talked about the question that was posed and asked is, you know, a lot of times after some of these games in the post game, you look and you're like, okay, I'm not that good at basketball. What are you thinking tonight? I would have just messed around with it and made a great audio clip and be like, you know what? After and if he has like a sponsored drink or something, like let's just say it's Peyton Manning, like after he, you know, won the Super Bowl, just be like, you know what? After a couple happy dads, you know, I think I might be pretty good at basketball. I just cut it right there, and it's like, there we go. Just because whatever the hell he says, people are going to clip it out of context. I don't know the final score and the final verdict on the Thunder game versus the Timberwolves because I was too busy watching Rob Brindamore be a little aggressive there in the third period in the Canes versus Panthers series. But I'm interested in seeing watching the tape back, looking at the highlights, because you could feel it. You could feel it in the water, considering how much just the Thunder. What was it, 23-9, after the end of the first quarter? It looked like SGA had 30 plus points. So what is that? Sixth, his sixth game in this postseason with 30 plus points. So he won the MVP. MVP what? NBA MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, and then NBA Finals MVP. I don't know. It might be loading. We'll just have to see. I think we'll watch that back again. But let's talk now. Let's just jump into it, guys. We got what do we got here? What do we got here? Let me look at some of the. Let me look. Let me double check the stat and see what the final score. Oh my gosh, 124 to 94. Yeah, that's not close. That is not a close game. What was it at halftime? I gotta know what it all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They were blowing them out by halftime too. Cause look at the score here. 39 plus 20. Oh shit. Hold on. We gotta do some math. Hold on. Stay with me, people. Well, let's do some math here. Let's see. 23 plus 9 equals 32. Okay. Now what's 65 to 32. Doubling the shit, dude. Shit. The Thunder scored more points in the second quarter than the Timberwolves did the whole first half. Holy hell. Now it does look like the Timberwolves came out, tried to punch them in the third quarter with 30 points. Thunder had 23, but then the Thunder, a little bit of icing on the cake. They had 36. T-Wolves had 32. And we got a gentleman's sweep here. We got a gentleman's sweep 4-1 as the Thunder advance to the West. No, NBA Finals. No, we already did the West Finals. This was the NBA Finals now. They'll get the home court. So as we turn our heads towards the NBA Finals, which begin June 5th. Thunder game 1. Thunder have game 1. Okay, hello. What do we have here? Julius Randle, 24 points. I'm going to look at the box score. We might as well while we're rolling through it. Kind of joked, kind of trolled a little bit on Julius Randle and where he sits. Okay, he had 24. McDaniels, ice cold. 1 for 5 from the 3, 2 for 13 from everywhere else. He had 5 points. Rudy Gobert had 2 points. 19 minutes. Okay, he must have been in foul trouble then. Okay, that doesn't speak for the whole game then. And then Mike Conley, 0 points. Okay, someone's gone. Here's an overreaction. Get ready for this one. Here's the overreaction. Mike Conley, or Julius Randle, or Rudy Gobert. One of them's leaving this offseason. They're done. They're gone. This team. Because how do you... Okay, I know you're only putting up 4 shots total in the game. You're playing for 21 minutes. But as it looks... Look at this. You got Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You got benched in this game. From what it looks like. I didn't watch this game. But considering McDaniels had 21, Gobert had 19, Conley had 21. I'm going to say Gobert probably got in foul trouble because he's a big. You know, they're going to try to bait him on some fouls. So he probably ran into foul trouble. But the fact that, you know, Naz, Dante, and Nickeil had more minutes probably tells me that these 3 were benched sometime in the third or fourth quarter. But yeah, when you're combined starting 5, let's just do some quick math here. 24 plus 19. Oh, hey, it did work like that. Fancy. Plus 7. When your starting 5 combines for 50 points, that's a problem. That's a problem, especially in today's NBA. Naz Reid, he had 11. He was pretty good today. Not a bad game, shot 5 for 6. So I bet he was a good spark plug off the bench. Then Terrence Shannon Jr., he had 11. Dante DiVincenzo had 6. So, you know, give her, Look at this. Rob Dillingham had 7. Luka Garza had 4, which by this point, look at this. Clark, Garza, and Minute came in together. Oh, same with Dillingham. This was probably mercy points where, okay, this thing, you know. Because let's go to the game cast here. Let's see where the largest team stats. Here we go. Where's the largest? Holy shit. 39 points. The highest these guys were winning were 39 freaking points. Holy hell. So I'll give some credit to Julius Randle. He had 24 points. He led the team in points. But yeah, you could see just from the first quarter, just the emotion of, oh my gosh, they're running us out of the building, we're going to lose this shit. And then let's go now. I mean, because I was riding high on it. I made a video on it. I was making predictions about it where, okay, if we're going to compare Edwards to LeBron, to MJ, as the next GOAT and crown him, he needed to have a big game tonight. He, again, in back-to-back games, he has shot ice cold from the three. He had 19 points tonight. He was a minus 29, which I don't know the plus-minus stat. It kind of doesn't make sense because it's probably, you know how in baseball they have the WAR stat? Oh, his WAR is blah, 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 or something like that. That's probably what it means, where he's taken more bad shots, i.e. shooting 1 for 7. And it's like, look at all those points they could have made if it was a layup or something. But if I'm not mistaken, last game and this game, dude shot 2 for 14 behind the three. That's not good. That's pretty tough. So yeah, Thunder deservingly so. I'd say let's table these Michael Jordan, LeBron James comparisons. Let's table them for another fortnight, where we wait another year. Because right now, I mean, there's just parts of me that would think, before we'll look at the Thunder stats too, but there's just parts of me that would think, if he was going to be one of the next greats, he would have shown up in this game. And maybe I'm overlooking some other things. Maybe he had some crucial defensive plays or tough bucket. I don't know. It's hard for me to say that, considering the highest lead that the Thunder had tonight was 39. So I don't know. I'm not going to jump on it too much, because we knew coming into the series the Thunder were a complete team. And we knew that Minnesota had some aging veterans, but then one bright spot star, Anthony Edwards. Conley, he's on his way out. Like, we know he's at the dawn. Like, we know he's towards the tail end of his career. Same with Julius Randle. So there's the veteran experience. But it's like, we know Mike Conley's not going to play like how he was playing when he was with the Jazz. Julius Randle's not going to play like how he was with the Knicks. So there's that. Yikes. Ice cold from the three. That's not good. That's not good if we're trying to compare Edwards to other players. But you know what? Truthfully, here's the thing. If what happens to Edwards, same thing with Luka. You know how quickly we're going to forget about these terrible back-to-back playoff games if Edwards is on the Bucks with Cooper Flag, or if Edwards goes to LA. I'm not saying he would, but we're gonna go, oh yeah, remember how? And then we don't care, because it's like, oh, look at that. But it'd be tough. I don't think Minnesota would ever get rid of Edwards. Plus, that'd be a huge overreaction. Like, I think he's gonna stay in Minnesota. Okay, now let's look at the Thunder stats, because we just have to. Isaiah Joe with 11 points. Hello. I don't even know who that is. Alex Caruso with 8 points. Yikes. Ice cold from the 3, 0 for 3. But what he missed in the 3, he made up for at the free throw line with 6. Plus, we know his impact on defense and just getting everybody organized. So he had 8 points, but he had some standing ovations when he came off. Jalen Williams, number 8, he had 19 points. Chet with 22, Shea with 34, and Lou Dort with 12. Hartenstein just a bucket away from having double digits. Like, yeah, there's your starting 5. One Hartenstein layup away from all having double digits. You're going to win that game 10 out of 10 times. What else happened tonight? Cason Wallace, he played 24 minutes. Anything else? Anybody standing out? Oh, they talked about this too in the first quarter, and I do remember this one kind of, where they're at one point Minnesota shot 28%. That's not good. Like that is what dug them a deep hole in the first quarter is they were shooting awful, and shots that would typically fall, they didn't. So I will, if we're trying to look at some bright spots and some positivity, there were a lot of good looks that just didn't fall in the first quarter. Okay, free throw, they shot 35% from the three when the Thunder shot 40%. Yeah, they both shot the same amount of threes. Just the difference is the Thunder made 2 extra. Yeah, all right. But yeah, there we have it, guys. We have the West. We know who's coming to the NBA Finals out of the West. It's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll see how that series goes. Kind of looking forward to. Hello, did my thing not? Hello. Oh well. Okay. All right, we'll do that. I didn't realize my music was off. Oh well. All right, now as we turn over to the NHL, I think it'd be easy to jump. Let me close out some things here. It'd be real easy for me to jump on Coach Brindamore and pointing the finger at him being the reason why the Hurricanes lost this game and why they lost the series. I'm not going to, because truthfully, I think Coach Brindamore he's going to be the coach when Carolina wins the Stanley Cup. Don't get it twisted. He's going to be there, and he's a great coach. And what's interesting about Carolina, and stay with me for a second when I try to make this point, is Carolina, if we were to make comparisons, because we like to make comparisons between leagues, where Carolina is at right now is where the Buffalo Bills are at. The Panthers are an easy comparison to the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at how the Chiefs have just dominated the AFC in the past 3-4 years. Look at how the Panthers and Florida as a state, whether it's the Lightning or the Panthers, look at how Florida has dominated the East. And this is the 6th straight year Florida team has gone. 6th straight year an Atlantic team has gone from the Atlantic Division. So that's pretty cool. But where the point I'm trying to make is Carolina has had so many playoff wins and so many playoff series wins without having a Stanley Cup final appearance. Just like how the Buffalo Bills have the record, I believe, right now for most playoff wins without a Super Bowl appearance. And, if the Bills are going to win a Super Bowl, let's not kid ourselves. It's going to be because Josh Allen's the quarterback. Now, if the Carolina Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup, let's not kid ourselves. It's going to be because Freddie Anderson's going to be on net and Rob Brindamore is going to be the head coach. Now, Jarvis and Aho, I would love to say that these are the guys that stay and they're going to be through here, but I'd lean towards Stahl, guaranteed to be here. But I don't know. Like, there's parts of me where I do want to overreact and go, okay, Jarvis or Aho, one of them's going to leave. You look, because he was injured, where's Chatfield been? Burnsy's there. Carrier had a huge game tonight. He had a big impact because, he was bruising everybody up. But it's like some of these third line, fourth line guys, they're going to be rotational pieces, just like how they'll be rotational pieces with the Islanders or the Canadians or the Sharks. Or like there will be a lot of movement. Like we saw the Panthers. Right after they won the Cup, some of their third, fourth line guys got rotated out. And that's what the door is, the ever-rotating door of the NHL. And so when we look at like guys like Mitch Marner, where it's like, okay, where's Mitch Marner going to go when Toronto blows up its core four? Could Carolina have given a little bit more of a fight if they had Mitch Marner with them? Probably. What about Nylander? Probably. Again, they need guys, they need players who, I will give a lot of credit to Aho and Jarvis in this game, not the series, in this game, because, yeah, when they were down 3-2, who was the one that scored the goal to make it 3-3? Now, this series wasn't lost just in this game. It was, where were you in game 1, 2, and 3? So, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. But I think with just how this game went, I think you can look at, because they blew a 2-0 lead. They blew a 2-0 lead, and in the span of 30 seconds, this game was flipped on its head. And so that's a tough pill to swallow. I don't remember. Was it Gostisbehere? I don't. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember who the penalty was on, but whoever that penalty was on, that flipped the tide of the whole game. And if Carolina had been playing like how they played in the first period, like in the first period, Carolina was taking Florida's lunch, and stole their lunch and their lunch money for the rest of the week. Like, they were kicking their ass in all aspects of the game. They were out physicality, even though that's not a word. They were out physicaling them. They were just the mental psyche of, like, they were aggressive. They were stern. They were very, like, just, they were doing chippy shit. Like, they were just getting after them, trying to get Florida bait, trying to get them to do a penalty so there could be a power play, because this thing was very chippy. There are a lot of little extracurricular fights and stuff. And I think that if Carolina, in the desperation hockey that they were playing in the first period when they got that 2-0 series lead, if that is how Carolina would have played the entire series, this is at least going 6. I can't say confidently, okay, Carolina's going to win the series, but you saw it if you watched the game. Dude, Carolina had them. Carolina freaking had them in the first period, but then silly penalty. We go on the power play, and then just in the span of 30 seconds game time, this thing goes from 2-0 to 2-2. There is no, like, it. What do you do? Seriously, what do you do? And then they took the lead, because Panthers had an explosive second period, so now they're leading 3-2. Okay, we have some late game heroics. We tie the game at 3 apiece. And then, as we talked about it, we saw it a little bit while they were celebrating with the trophy. Barkov able to just push and forecheck using the forearm, and just the pure strength of just taking the puck into the zone, and riding the boards. And then phenomenal pass to Carter Verhaeghe, where Verhaeghe just buries it in the back of the net. Like, that's going to be the play that everybody talks about, because it looks like a routine play. But with the pass and the misalignment of where everybody was, it was kind of like to Chuck's redirect, where, okay, once we're in the zone, they talk, okay, everybody's in their office, let's let them go to work. This is what favors the Panthers, and we know this. And this is why I think the Panthers might win the Stanley Cup in Edmonton or Dallas, because look at what they did. Back against the wall, Carolina just took their lunch money in the first period, fought all the way back. And then when the thing's tied where, Carolina has some momentum, steal it right back. Heartless, just steal that shit right back. 4-3. And then the empty netter making it 5-3. Because I don't think the empty netter was kind of, you live by the sword, die by the sword. Like, me, with 2 minutes left, it's a little too much. Now, if we have, just based on alignments and which lines we're throwing out there, maybe if we're under a minute and we got 40-something seconds, yes, let's go to work, let me throw. But just being aggressive, because it was almost like clockwork, just with how funny. Hold on, let me take a swig. With just how funny, because the broadcast was talking about how, Brendan Morris, one of the most aggressive coaches in the NHL. Let's see when he pulls Anderson, because they called the timeout, wrote up the play. And then sure enough, 10 seconds later, Anderson is heading to the bench, and well, the rest was a goal. And two, Bennett, when Bennett scored, because Bennett had the empty netter, I don't think that's one thing that they put into play is once this power play is over, if it gets crossed the blue line and midline, red line, I don't know what the middle line's called. If Bennett's coming out of the box, literally what happened is what happened where it's not an offsides, it's nothing. It's just Bennett, oh, there's the puck, and I'm the only one down here. It happened, so I don't think they calculated that one, but again, they're the coach, I'm not. I don't know where Carolina goes from here. I really don't. But that's honestly 100%. That's my take on tonight's games. As we got a Thunder blowout, and then we got a tough loss from the Hurricanes. Because I really don't. With the Hurricanes, and again, I'm not trying to overreact. Is a lot of the mental psyche and how this feels is kind of feels like Toronto, where we know Toronto's going to make some changes, and we know Toronto's going to get rid of some players, bring some guys on in the offseason. What does Carolina do? Because we saw it in the first period, we've seen this team be really good, but then we've seen other parts of it where it's like they are playing like the 0-15 Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Final. Like, I really don't know. I don't know. But then again, we could look at the Hurricanes kind of like how we can look at the T-Wolves or look at the Nuggets, where, well, you lost to the team that eventually went back-to-back. Nuggets, you lost to the Thunder, but yeah, at least you took them to 7 when the Thunder just, oh, look at that. Gentlemen sweeped the T-Wolves, and we'll see if they sweep the Pacers or the Knicks, or gentlemen sweep the Pacers or the Knicks. So I guess there's a little bit of upside, but you can't, it's tough to look for upside considering, I mean, Panthers just outscoring teams on the road, and just the overall glaring record against the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final. And I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. Like, you know what? Throw this hat in the ringer. Way too early prediction. There's parts of me that can see a rematch of this happening, because I mean, the NHL doesn't do a format where the 1 seed's playing the 8th seed, the 2 seed's playing the 7th seed. They got the division thing, which traditionally, the traditional side of me is going, you know what? The NHL should do what the NBA does, where we don't want to see Tampa Bay and Toronto play each other every single year in the first round, because they'll end up being the 2 or 3 in the Atlantic Division. We don't want to see in the Metro, we don't want to see the Rangers playing the Capitals or the Rangers playing the Penguins in the first round. Like, reward the teams by seeding when you look at the conference. But with just how it would play out, the only other time if the Canes and the Panthers ran into each other again, with it not being the Eastern Conference Final, it would have to be if the Panthers are the 2 seed or the 1 seed, and the Canes are the 7 seed or the 8 seed. Now, I'm gonna say it that way because I don't see the Panthers just falling off and we were a wild card 1, we were a wild card 2 team. No, but I can see Carolina being a wild card team. So, I think the Canes can get to a Stanley Cup. They just got to make sure they're not running into the Panthers. We can have, you know, the Panthers losing to, oh gosh, I don't even know who they could lose to, because they're so stinking good. The Rangers, I still wanted to see a Capitals. There's parts of me that think the Capitals could have taken them to 6 or 7. That was my original Eastern Conference Finals prediction. Rangers, Capitals. Who's another team that matches up pretty well with them? I would say Toronto, but it's like, don't kid yourself. But I think, if like, let's say Toronto did beat the Panthers magically in Game 7, went to the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah, I do think the Hurricanes would have had a better shot and a better chance. But you got to look at it from the point of view of Canes just lost to a team that might go back to back. So that's my thoughts on that, guys. Though let's look around the sporting world. Let's see if we got any other big news going on. Let me look at some things. Okay, Thunder steamroll into first NBA final since 2012. Panthers finish off Canes, return to the cup final. Caleb Williams addresses book excerpt, says he loves being a Bear. Okay, yeah. Vrabel stresses decision making. Messi, Suarez score 2 each in lopsided Miami win. Okay, all right. No, nothing. And then baseball world, Cardinals beat the O's. Angels are beating the Angels right now, 1-0. White Sox beat the Mets 9-4. Cubs beat the Rockies 2-1. Blue Jays beat the Rangers 2-0. Cleveland beat LA 7-4. Nationals are on top of the Mariners 6-0. Why Lewis Reddick thinks Justin Fields will have a career year. All right, we'll see. That's my 2-word response. We'll see. And then Windhurst, most impactful week of NBA offseason will be draft week. My 2-word response. We'll see. Okay. There's parts of me that think NBA moves will happen before the draft ever happens. Like, there's parts of me where we could wake up in the middle, like when we have like a slow news day, we could wake up in the middle of, I don't know, June. So the finals start, what, June 5th? We could wake up like June 8th on a Sunday or June 9th on a Monday, and it'll be like, breaking news. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been traded. Like I kind of feel like some of these trades, if it's going to be a big blockbuster one, i.e., Giannis goes to the Mavs. Mavs give the Bucks Cooper Flag, with the draft lottery pick or something like that. Like big ones, I could see wait till draft day, but other little ones like Julius Randle has been traded. Mike Conley has been traded. Who are some other guys that might be on the trade block who have been eliminated recently? Porzingis. Everybody's talking about Porzingis right now getting traded to the Warriors. I don't see it. Why would he leave Boston? Yeah, they were talking about Tingus Pingus goes to the Warriors, and then the Warriors give Buddy Hield and a lot of depth. And I think like a first rounder or something. So, all right. Let's check the chat one more time. Let's see if we got any crazy sports takes. Tingus Pingus. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday indeed. All right. We'll end it right there. We will end it right there. Pretty kind of not slow, but like it was a kind of, we went into tonight thinking a lot would happen, but like what happened. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't shock me. I'll say that. And that's why I kind of feel like tonight was kind of a slower night for sports, but it is what it is. All right, people on the shorts end, we're going to do a hard out here. Sorry, but I'll catch you in the next video. All right, got that all cleared away. Okay, now people on the big live stream end. Here's what we got. So I got my Minnesota Vikings video that just published about an hour ago. Be sure to go watch that. I give my full prediction and just kind of thoughts on how the Vikings could do in this 2025 season. So yeah, be sure to go watch that. Give that a like button. tonight, just depending on if I hear back. I might be playing some video games tonight. Nope, haven't heard back. But we might be doing some gaming stream because I haven't played Doom in a while, and I know Battlefront's popping off right now, so we might play a little bit of Battlefront. But guys, I thank you for being here. This is a fun stream. Congrats to the Thunder. Simply put, congrats to the Thunder for getting to the NBA Finals, and congrats to the Stanley Cup. No. Congrats to the Panthers for getting to their third straight Stanley Cup final. This Panthers team they're really special. Like, Tampa was special, Vegas was special. Look at Florida, man. Yikes. Alright, people. We're gonna end this stream there. I'll catch you in the next one.